Welcome to another episode of OG55 Live. I am joined by the Italiano. We are taking your questions, your comments, theme parks, movies, music, whatever you want to talk about today. Up next here on OG55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG55. We are taking all your questions. We got some great questions in there already. We got Matthew Murr in the house, SD Drawing, Sam Chat, Googamp, so many people already. We do appreciate everybody for joining us today. George, where can everybody find you on social media, sir?
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There we go. Mr. Matthew Murr with a €10 super chat. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us, brother. We always do appreciate you, Matthew. Question exclusively. This is a George exclusive. There we go. Exclusively for George. What do you think of my previous appearance on the channel, the one we did recently? Everyone check that video out, actually. It was from like 2 weeks ago. It was Matthew and I. Really, really cool video. Great discussion. Where we discussed how one can never outgrow Disney, and also my reevaluation of Once Upon a Studio Rewrite. It was pretty deep. George, what about this notion that you can never truly outgrow Disney? Do you believe that, or do you disagree with that? There are a lot of people out there that really do believe that, hey, you know what, Disney is just for kids, and it's just safe for just kids. And if you go to Disneyland or the Disney parks without kids, you are a weirdo. There are people out there. I've seen conservative pundits say that, where these Disney adults that go with no kids is kind of a weird thing. And so it's out there. Some people think you can outgrow Disney. I personally don't think you can, because I don't think Disney is exclusively for kids. I think it was always meant for everybody. But what say you, George? What are your thoughts on this? Can you outgrow Disney?
Absolutely not. And honestly, the founder, Walt Disney himself, even said it, where the children and the children's parents can have fun together. It's for everyone, for the young and the young at heart. I think if it's something that you're into, and I also think too, it also goes by each individual's preference. Like, for instance, you could have someone who grew up going to Disney, they became an adult, and they grew out of it. They're like, it's really not my thing anymore. Then you have kids who never been to Disney, and they became an adult,
right?
Experienced it and was like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I want to keep on doing this. I didn't get to have this in my childhood. So I think, when you see an adult in a Disney park, it's so quick to judge, to say, oh, they're an adult, they shouldn't be here. Why are they at Disneyland? When you don't even know the backstory. It could be there for nostalgia purposes. It could be for memories, tradition. Maybe it's their first time ever going and they wanted to experience it. So even for the people that started out small, and like myself, I've been a huge Disney fan practically since birth. I still am a diehard Disney fan. So when they say, can one, grow out of Disney? There are people who probably could, but I mean, I don't think there's ever a time that, it's like when you hit a certain age, it's like, okay, you're done. No more, no more like in Disney,
Yeah, I completely agree. And I don't have time to actually show the clip, but this was actually Peter, our friend Peter from Ordinary Ventures. He actually posted this on social media. I believe it's on Instagram. It's a clip of Walt Disney talking about the ratio between adults and children at his parks. I'm actually going to play the audio for you. I saved the clip on my phone, but here's the audio. I think it was kind of interesting. Can you hear this, by the way, George? One sec. Wait, one sec.
What is the ratio of adults to children? Four adults to one child. That is, we're counting, though, the teenagers as adults. Of course. But, of course, in the wintertime, you can go out there.
Now, he said, Walt Disney said 4 adults to every, four adults to every one child at Disney parks. Yeah. Although he said he was including teenagers as adults. But still, I mean, that's skewed more towards little older, you know, maybe teens into the adults. So even back then, there was a much more heavy skew towards adults. What say you about that clip? Could you hear that okay, by the way? Was that fine?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I heard it perfect. And yeah, I mean, as I said, even to Walt himself, you know, he was looking at the bigger demographic. He wasn't just gearing towards just children entertainment or just a certain age entertainment. It was for everybody. You know, it was in his mind, he wanted to create a place just like his films where everyone can get together, no matter how old you are, whether you have children or not, and just find some happiness and leave the real world behind. And that's all that should matter. And really, honestly, it's to no one else's business what another person is into. If you're not into it, that's perfectly fine, but don't knock people who are into it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, and everyone has different, you know, even amongst Disney fans, we have different interests and different visitation patterns, right? Like, for example, we've said many times, I can't go once a week. I get very bored. It loses its shine. I love the place. I dedicate a whole channel to it. We talk about it every single day here on the channel. I love it, but I can't visit once a week. It's just for me, I can't do it. I just get kind of bored of it. But George you can definitely go once a week. You can go 3 times a week. So even amongst the Disney fan community, we have different tastes, different preferences, but you should always respect other people's, what is it called? Passions, I guess, or the way they like, whatever makes them happy, however they follow their bliss. So if George wants to go 7 days a week, that's on George. If I want to go once every 3 months, that's on OG. But you shouldn't be making fun of or teasing or mocking anyone for something that they have a passion for. Passion is a very cool thing to have. And I love people with passion. If I meet somebody, and look, I don't care about sports. I couldn't give 2 shits about sports, okay? I'm watching the Super Bowl this year only because of Kendrick Lamar, okay? That's the only thing I care about. I could care less about sports. But if I meet somebody, a friend, or maybe like, you know, a female that I'm dating or whatever, and they're into sports and they're passionate about it, I like that. It's cool to have passion. Too many people nowadays are so cynical in this world. It's good and refreshing to find some people that still have a little bit of passion and a little bit of just like that, just pure joy when it comes to just whether it's Disney, sports, golf, whatever it may be. So yeah, don't make it fun of everybody. If it's not for you, it's not for you, but there's no need to mock or look down on people because they're like, you know, a Disney adult. That's just a kind of crappy behavior. Mr. Sam, chat, friend of the channel, thank you so much for being a member. Sam, are you happy the cannons in Rise are working again? We are very happy, Sam. We are actually going to be recording a video about that very topic after this live show. So look for that recording or that video in the coming day or two. But yeah, it's fantastic. I really thought they were just going to leave it. I didn't think they were ever going to fix it. I thought it was going to be like the Jolly Trolley in Toontown. Just park them, you know? Park them. Let them stay stagnant, you know? But no, hey, look, we talk a lot about Josh Yamaro on this channel. We criticize Josh a lot on this channel, but you know what? When the man comes through, the man comes through. When the buck stops, look, the buck stops there with Tomorrow. He runs the experiences division, right? So if we're going to blame Tomorrow for everything under the sun, well, then we got to give him credit for the stuff too. And I give Josh major kudos, along with Ken Potrock, for getting that Disneyland Rise of the Resistance up and running after all this time. Look, it's been how long? Probably a year or more that these things haven't been working. I mean, for them to go back and do that,
it might even have been longer, because I remember when the ride first opened, you know, they were up, you know, to full speed and everything, and it was shortly after that they just kind of turned them off. I don't know if the cannons themselves actually worked. I think it had something to do with the foundation that the cannons were on, like as they moved back and forth, if it was doing something like behind the wall, as it was pushing forward and backwards. Well, obviously they fixed the issue, whatever it was, and I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that they addressed it, because it's so easy that they could have just, you know, left it go.
They could have left it. It's been so long now. I think fans kind of gave up on it. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that, look, I'm not excusing bad show. I don't want anyone to get up there. Look at this pixie duster just saying that they should have left it. I'm not saying they should have left it. I'm saying they could have easily have left it, and people would have probably forgot over the years or just kind of whatever, right? But they didn't do that. Okay, they actually went through and they actually fixed it years after the fact. It's been a while. Okay, but at least they got it done. So I appreciate that. I think as fans, we appreciate that, and we got to give Josh Giamaro credit when there's good stuff, right? So management, we always point the finger when they messed up, and we should. But when they do good, we also have to let them know that, hey, you know what? Let's go. This is positive. Mr. C. Moore Duck gifted 1 OG55 membership. Thank you so much, Mr. Duck. We love Mr. Duck. We absolutely love Mr. Duck. SD Drawings. You think Universal ticket price will go up when Epic opens? Yeah, I think so. I think. Look, here's the thing, SD. Universal's in market share mode. Okay, Universal with their theme parks, they're in market share mode, similar to what Disney was with Disney Plus in 2019. Remember when Disney Plus came online in 2019? It was like one of the cheaper streaming services out there. Okay, it wasn't because Disney was just doing you a solid because they love the fans. It was cheaper because they were trying to expand their market share. Okay, now that Disney has garnered a pretty significant subscription base, right? What's going on? Well, now they're raising the prices, okay? Universal will absolutely be the same situation with their parks. Once they get to the market share levels that they want, you will start to see them raising prices closer to what you see over there at Disney. It's bound to happen. These are corporations, multinational corporations. Comcast is not, the mom and pop cookie shop on Ventura Boulevard, run by Aunt May. Okay. It's a multinational billion-dollar conglomerate. They will absolutely do whatever they have to do to make more money. As they should. That's what these companies do. They will behave just like Disney when they're in that similar position, in my opinion. Italiano, what say you?
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty inevitable, like after the fact that, Epic opens, everyone kind of gets, their taste of it, so to speak. Universal works out the kinks, the glitches, get the operationals going, because we know it's going to happen. It happens not just with Universal, it happens with Disney too. Anything brand new, there's always bumps along the road. And then as time moves on, Universal is going to capitalize on that. And then when they change the way of how people can enter into Epic Universe, because right now you could either be an annual pass holder and you get a day ticket, or you have to buy a certain number of days as a package, then you get basically an Epic Universe day free. But essentially that's going to change, and where you could just add in Epic Universe wherever, however you please to, whether it's just a one day, whether it's in a vacation package. And when that day comes, all those packages are going to, and ticket prices are going to skyrocket.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If there's one thing George knows, it's about packages, right, George? He's a package expert, so there you go. Just kidding. I had to add a joke in there, I'm saying? It wouldn't be an OG55 live without some jokes like that, So Sam, chat with a second question. Thoughts on rumors of Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom returning to Pirate 6? This may be an unpopular opinion, but personally, I don't want another pirate movie, although 5 is the weakest. You know what, Sam? I don't think it's that unpopular, to be honest with you. I think people are kind of tired of it. I know I am. I'm kind of over it. I think they were great films. I think it was done in a very, very clever, creative way, incorporating the attraction at the parks into the films. I'm just kind of over it. I love Johnny in this role. I do. I absolutely love him. But I don't know.
Sometimes too much is too much.
Sometimes too much is too much. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather Disney kind of look into how they're going to reinvent their studio. They're depending too much right now on the old stuff that Pirates right now. They're going back into Pirates, and they're remaking every animated film they ever made basically at this point. I want the live action arm of the Walt Disney Company, the Walt Disney Studios proper. I want them to really get creative again. Start making stuff that's really fun. Start making stuff that's creative. Start the live action division should start creating cool movies and creating new IP and not piggybacking off of everything else. I think it's lazy. I love Johnny Depp. I think he's fantastic. I love him as Jack Sparrow, but I'm with you, Sam. I don't need another pirate movie. But what say you, George?
I love Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, and I love the pirate movies for what they were when they came out. They're classic Disney movies that you can go back on and say, hey, this was the time when the pirate franchise was like booming. It's just because it was a better time, for that pirate franchise doesn't mean you just keep on going and beating it with a stick. I was very skeptic, of how Pirates on Stranger Tides was going to be. And then after I saw it, I was like, whoa, okay, that like completely like changed directions from the first 3 films. And then Dead Men Tell No Tales came out. I'm like, okay, what are they doing? Like you're just creating these products just to say, hey, we're doing another Pirates movie. Here's Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. Can we just keep it to where it was at its hype and, let it go for what it was when it was at its best?
Yeah, well said, well said. Hello 321 says we need more likes. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Hello. Really nice of you. Thank you so much. And we got Googamp32 here. Googamp32. Why are certain shows like Aladdin, the animated series, and House of Mouse not on Disney Plus? Disney owns shows in their entireties, so I can't imagine it's a rights issue. No, it's not a rights issue. What I think it is, it's a money-saving issue. And the reason why it's a money-saving issue is because when you have shows that maybe Disney doesn't feel will perform, well, if they're on the platform, they still have to pay the creatives that were involved in those shows to have that on the platform. So they're paying the talent for that to be on that platform. And those shows aren't really giving them much ROI in return, much return on investment back. So that's why you're seeing, look, I want to see Aladdin the series too. I think that was a dope animated show back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. House of Mouse was fun too. As us Disney nerds, we want that stuff. But the normies, I don't know if the normies really care. And Disney probably knows there isn't much of an audience for it. And it's probably more expensive to platform it on Disney Plus than it is than what it's worth. I mean, that's just my guess, dude. I could be completely wrong. Seymour is more into the streaming stuff. Seymour, if you know, or have a better estimate as to why they're not showcasing these shows, I would like to hear your opinion, Seymour, but that's just kind of my guess. What say you, George?
For me, yeah, I mean, I've always questioned the same thing when they started releasing everything under the sun with Disney Plus, and I'm like, okay, where's the Aladdin series? Where's House of Moss? And then surely it took how long even for them to get Bear in the Big Blue House, on there. And even to now, there's certain episodes that I think that are not on Disney Plus for whatever reason. I can't remember why, but I think there's also something to that as well, especially with House of Mouse, because it's not only, even though, yeah, Disney owns it, it created it, it has its own rights, but there still may be something with the streaming process of what it has to do, like with contracts when Disney would release things before Disney Plus to other streaming platforms. Because with House of Mouse, it wasn't just a one mainstream show. They would show clips from older past Disney cartoons. And I don't know if there are certain logistic reasons as to why Disney can't put that on Disney Plus yet. Not saying that they can't, but there may be something as to why that they have to go through before they can.
Yeah, there's something going on. It's likely some sort of cost thing or some kind of hurdle in that realm. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll eventually show up. I'm still waiting for Disneyland Goes to the World's Fair that was promised to us 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. I remember that too. Really quick, bro. Before you read CSRS question, I just have to.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, Giant Peter. Exactly. Yeah, House of Mouse. Yeah, exactly. Like a true Pennsylvanian.
Yep.
But you know what, though? He might sound like a Pennsylvanian, but he's all California now.
Woke up looking for the broccoli.
There we go. All right, let's go to Mr. CSRS. If Frozen came to Disneyland Resort, would it be a better fit at Disneyland Park proper than DCA or whatever it's rebranded into? And would they still stick with a boat ride or a trackless instead? Okay, so if DCA becomes Disney Cinematic Adventure, and I know I sound like such a broken record, but look, not everyone watches every live show, not everyone watches every video, so you have to understand that. I can't go in there with the assumption that everyone's watching everything. If it becomes Disney Cinematic Adventure, if Disney rebrands this park, you could put Frozen Land in DCA, yes. Now, would it be a better fit there than in Disneyland? Personally, I think it fits better in Disneyland, but it fits better in Disneyland connected to Fantasyland. I feel like Frozen is such a Fantasyland property. it would feel weird to have a whole land across the park in the expansion pad separate from Fantasyland. I feel the same way about Fantasy Springs. I don't want Fantasy Springs on the other end of the park because it's basically Fantasyland. Now you have two Fantasylands. Okay, that messes with my OCD. I don't like that. So, so for me, it does go better in Disneyland. It preferably motorboat cruise area. You can even get rid of the submarines and all that stuff. Autopia.
And the Matterhorn is a nice backdrop with that as well.
Perfect backdrop. Exactly, George. Perfect backdrop. So it fits better in Disneyland. But look, if DCA becomes Cinematic Adventure, it would fit there too. And you can theoretically put it in the Simba lot. So it'd be out there in its own little area, its own little cozy nook over there, So we'll see. We'll absolutely see. But now, would it be a boat ride or trackless?
I'll actually, do you know what? To kind of set it aside for it to be an original domestic Frozen ride, I would like it to be a trackless ride, but it would be an ice sled, sort of like what Kristoff rides with Sven.
Yeah,
so it's like you're kind of like sliding on the ice and going through the snow, and being chased by the wolves and stuff.
So like a trackless thing.
Yeah.
But you're on that, and you would slide, and it kind of like you could even like kind of drift. That'd be kind of dope. Yes. Yeah, that would be very, very cool. I think also whatever Frozen area, land, attraction we get here in California, it's gonna be based on the third and fourth movie.
I agree. Yeah, I think they're kind of like, not that they're too far along, but I think we already got a taste of what the first movie is like through the live show performances and Frozen Ever After and these other rides in the international parks. But I will say, I do agree with you. It will be probably Frozen 3 and 4. But yeah, Tokyo did it smart, with the Fantasy Springs, because based off of what you were just describing, they put it I feel like that's why they put it in Tokyo Disney Sea, to kind of set it aside from not having a Fantasyland 2.0 in the same park as a Fantasyland.
Yep. The Rogue attraction. He's a friend of the channel here. Rogue actually has a YouTube channel, and you can catch him on YouTube. He does a lot of live streaming from the parks and everything, and a friend of the channel. So make sure you go ahead and check him out. When do you think Disney will do full remakes of Space Mountain? They both need a major upgrade. Yeah, I think here's the thing. Magic Kingdoms, they got to gut that thing and retrack it. Because that thing is it's like our Matterhorn, basically. It's a bumpy ride, okay? Disneyland's, though, I don't think Disneyland's is really in that need of a full makeover. I mean, we just got didn't we just get the
like the blue lighting?
Yeah, we just got that, and we actually had a full track redo for our 50th. So I think we're okay. I mean, I wouldn't mind a little sprucing up, but I don't think it needs a major upgrade. I mean, in my opinion, but I mean that's all subjective, respectfully. But Florida. Yeah, I think it needs a whole track replacement and the whole shebang. But what say you, George?
I agree. I feel it needs a whole track replacement. I feel like it needs vehicle replacement. I'm not a huge fan of how the vehicles are kind of like the Matterhorn, where you're low in the seats and like you feel everything. Like it's very bumpy. It really messes you up, and it's like. Sometimes I dread even the thought of, do I want to go on Space Mountain at Walt Disney World? And that's sad because I love the ride, but I would take Disneyland's 10 times over than Magic Kingdom's.
Yeah, I would agree. Jesse Adventure here. Thank you so much, Jesse, for being a member and checking out our content. We do appreciate you, sir. Do you think they will add a new parade float to paint the night like they did in 2018? It's possible. It's possible. I mean, that would be kind of cool, actually. For the 70th anniversary, you bring that bad boy back, and here you go, boom, new float.
What float would you like if they did
what IP?
What would you pick?
Palpatine, bro. Just a giant ass Palpatine. Like, no, I'm just kidding. Actually, that would be kind of cool in Paint the Night to have a Palpatine float. That'd be pretty dope. But it doesn't go with the rest of the parade. No, I would do.
Really quick though, but you know what? That's kind of not far-fetched in a way, because I mean, even though I'm not a huge fan of it, look how they incorporate Marvel and Star Wars into World of Color.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I love Palps. He's like one of my favorite all-time movie characters. But that would be kind of cool to have a whole nighttime parade with like a giant Palpatine or something. But my money though would probably be like Moana. I think Moana would be what Disney would want to do, because Moana is like the cash cow right now, and also. You can do a lot of cool stuff with Moana. Actually, the Magic Happens Moana float is pretty dope with that giant LED water screen or whatever.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
imagine
that's a-
something similar for Paint the Night. It would look pretty stunning at night. So I'd go Moana, actually. What say you, George?
I actually agree with you. I think Moana would be a perfect fit. I also, I mean, knowing Disney too, like they'll maybe lean more towards some of like for the demographic of kids, like maybe like something of Zootopia.
Well, that's cool. I like that idea.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I probably wouldn't be a huge fan of it, but they may go a route of maybe like Turning Red or something like that. But again, not my cup of tea, but Disney thinking of like the demographic. But yeah, my top two, I'd say like Moana or Zootopia.
Yeah, that would be on my short list as well. Theme Park Conductor, another friend of the channel, another content creator. You can find him on YouTube, Theme Park Conductor. Do you guys think that we might hear anything Disneyland Resort, Tomorrowland remodeling, and Destination D23? I do not think so, Conductor. I think if they were going to do that announcement, it was going to be a D23. I think that there were rumors, and there's always Tomorrowland rumors. There were rumors that they were going to do something with Tomorrowland, but I don't think that those plans are panning out right now. I think Disney is real focused right now on the 70th. I think they're real focused on this next 5 years in terms of like the Disneyland Forward kind of stuff. You know, I don't think that they can really afford to add one more thing to that plate. I mean, think about it. You have the 70th anniversary for Disneyland. You have 2 Avengers attractions, Coco boat ride, a full ass Avatar, Pandora, and DCA. There's a lot going on right now. I just can't see them throwing in another big project. Like, by the way, we're also going to redo all of Tomorrowland. I think a Tomorrowland reimagining is more likely to be at the back end, like maybe after this first 5 years, the next 5 years, whatever, like the D23 that's going to announce the next 5 years. I think Tomorrowland is a likely contender for that. But we're not going to see it within the next 5 years. I think we have enough projects right now at Disneyland Resort to kind of keep us busy for 5 years. Yeah, I can't see them dipping into Tomorrowland now. That ship has sailed at least for 5 years. What say you, George?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Tomorrowland would be on the back burner, even after Pandora for sure. Yeah, because they got so much they have to deal with already with all the current projects, and Destination D23 a lot of the time gears towards Walt Disney World. Now that could be the argument of saying, okay, well, they can mention both Tomorrowlands because there are certain aspects of Disneyland they do mention with Destination D23, but this time around I don't think that's going to be the case. I do, however, in time feel like we may get a few more surprises for Disneyland as far as like projects go, because I feel like the 3 big ones are the Avengers, Coco, and Pandora. But aside from getting more info on them, I would say like in the next couple years, we may see what goes beyond 2030 with Disneyland. While Disney World, I feel like there's like enough there to probably even hold over a little longer after like Monsters Inc., Cars, Villains, the new nighttime parade and what have you. And plus also too, Disney's going to be capitalizing on the 70th anniversary coming up soon with the Walt Disney animatronic and Paint the Night coming back. So yeah, there's a lot going on right now, and I don't think the Tomorrowlands are on Disney's radar right now.
I don't think so either. And that's not even mentioning all the downtown Disney stuff that they're doing as well, on top of everything else. So I don't think it's going to happen. But, you know, after this 5 years, very good chance of that. Because by then they have DCA pretty set for a little while, you know, and now it would be time to kind of turn back to Disneyland, and that would be the perfect thing to do is a Tomorrowland. So Lucas Kim is in the house, friend of the channel. Lucas, we appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for being a member and one of our wonderful mods. We do appreciate you. Can we get a Disney themed ski resort in the future? They should make another DVC resort outside of the parks. That's actually a really good idea. I wouldn't mind that at all. What say you, Italiano? Would you be down for that?
Yeah. I mean,
it's a resort, no park or anything, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, there were talks that, you know, even with Disney, like when he was alive, that, you know, there was going to be a ski resort, and they kind of have the Disney Alani Resort in Hawaii, you know, so they can kind of go the route and go to the colder side and maybe do like a DVC ski resort type of thing in the northern states. That would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane Nurani here says, I'm okay if Avengers Campus stops at Infinity Defense. That doesn't mean you have to stop doing Marvel. You could do Wakanda or Asgard, or if Fantastic Four does well, then use it to fix Tomorrowland. Yes. Shane, I mentioned this actually, I think, in our last live show. That's exactly correct. We've seen Disney do this before, right? We have Pixar Pier, which has a ton of Pixar all over it, but then you have Cars Land. And you also have Monsters, Inc. over there in Hollywoodland. So just because Avengers Campus is landlocked or done, doesn't mean that Marvel is done, because you can do Wakanda theoretically or Asgard in that symbol lot if they wanted to. There were actually big rumors about that. I think even in the concept art, they showed that for Disneyland Forward when they were selling the idea to the city. It was in there.
Wakanda was one of the ones on the list that they actually announced on KTLA.
Exactly. So you're absolutely correct on that. Disney has no problem having multiple IPs separate in the same park. We see it right now with Pixar all over the place in DCA. So that's absolutely correct. You can keep Avengers Campus a nice little small footprint, and you can do a big thing, symbol lot or something else. So we'll see. Fantastic. A thing. The thing. That's a very Italian kind of thing, though, isn't it? Like to talk
it is.
Like that,
Oh
right?
yeah, it's just a thing,
There's a thing, what I'm saying? It's a thing. The Fantastic Four idea is fantastic. No pun intended, Shane. I love that idea. I've been saying that too. That mid-century retro future thing would be perfect for our Tomorrowland here in Anaheim. I think that would be. You get a good, big, grand e-ticket for Fantastic Four. That would fit beautifully, chef's kiss in Tomorrowland. So yeah, I would absolutely love that. Let's see here. The Giant Peter Show. Josh has mentioned many times about a Wakanda land being in the works for a Disney park. Yeah, see? And what park would it be in? It's not going to go to Disneyland. They'll put it in DCA.
Yeah.
It'll be DCA. So now that's not going to happen anytime soon. It'll be after this first 5 years. But the next 5 years, that might be phase 2 expansion of Symbol Lot. So we'll see. Now, Lucas Kim says here he has a question for George. It's pending right now, though. We got the 3 dots. The 3 dots. He's typing. But, Lucas, we'll come back to it, okay? We'll come back to it. This is a George exclusive. He's going to ask you about your chest hair, George. I know it.
Probably. He's going to be like, how come the chest hair isn't showing in the camera?
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Kiki and Luca. By the way, we had a fantastic conversation with Kiki and Luca all about Tokyo Disney Resort, Japanese culture. Amazing conversation with him. It was first time making an appearance on the channel. He did a phenomenal job. Check it out. You can currently see it. It's up on the channel now. It's all about Tokyo Disney. We went like an hour and a half or something like that, or maybe even longer than that.
I think it was almost
2.
I think it was almost 2.5.
Yeah. It was good. It was a great conversation. So Kiki and Luca, we do appreciate you. He says, hi, everybody. I'm in the middle of nowhere with no internet connection, but I'll try to catch the replay. Absolutely. It's always good to see you, Kiki and Luca. Let's see what else we got. So we're still waiting for Lucas. And we got Dragon Blood. I thought about what Magic Kingdom could do after Villains Land opens. I thought about an expansion of Adventureland, adding a Moana ride with the Shanghai boat ride system. That's where the money's at, Dragon Blood. I mean, if they can do that, Moana is such a big franchise right now. It's huge. We're seeing the numbers that the first movie pulled. We're seeing the numbers that the second movie pulled. It deserves more than the Epcot water fountain thing that they have. So build a grand e-ticket Moana experience, with the Shanghai boat ride system, because Florida, in Anaheim, we will have that Shanghai boat ride system with Pandora. That's the ride system they're going to have for our attraction for DCA. Florida's not going to have that though. So I want to see Florida get it too. And I think a good IP to do that with would be Moana. Let's see here. Okay. Question for George. Here we go. And we got Robert Iger in the house. We'll get to him in a second. We got Mr. Robert Iger. We love our Bob. Lucas and Disney, question to George. The cruise has paid Wi-Fi and streaming that was mentioned by our friend. He calls me Pineapple Princess. By the way, I want to give a big shout out to her. She's amazing. We love Victoria. She's awesome. And I did see her tweet, and she has actually really, really good points. I want to talk about this too, Lucas, because I saw her tweet, and it's actually a great point. But what's your opinion about paid streaming and Wi-Fi service? And have you used them before? Do you recommend it based on the price?
So for me, I've done many Disney cruises, and I've personally never used the service.
Wait, so I've done something on the cruise that you haven't done? This is amazing. How is this even possible, bro? Yeah, we did it. We did. Go ahead, though.
Wow.
Go ahead. You go first. Yeah, we
So,
did it.
yeah, so for me, I didn't really have the need to need it or use it. For me, I love kind of disconnecting from social media, like being on a Disney cruise. It's like the one time of doing something of Disney that I don't have to use my phone with, aside from the ship navigator, like on the Disney Cruise Line app, and maybe contacting someone on the ship, you know, to meet up somewhere. But that's about it. But I do know people who have used the package, and I feel like it's a benefit depending on how long you're staying on the Disney cruise. I do know it does help that if you're trying to connect with people like back on land, you know, or if you have to do something with work, or now, especially too, if now that I'm starting to get into vlogging, it does help that aspect, because if I wanted to upload something while being on the ship, that Wi-Fi can help me do that.
Yeah, here's the thing with this whole thing, because Victoria, Pineapple Princess, she was mentioning on Twitter that it's expensive, and it is. It's an arm and a leg. We did it with I went on a Disney cruise back in 2022, my first one, with my mom and my sister. Had a great time. We paid for this. It's super expensive, okay? And you burn through it, where you're like you burn through it really fast. You don't realize how fast it's a money pit, okay? It's a complete and total money pit. Now, I'm different than you, George. I don't like being fully disconnected from the outside world, because that gives me a little bit of like, what if something is happening at home I need to know about? It gives me a little bit of anxiety not being able to talk to people at home. What if someone had an emergency? What if something happened? I like to just have that line of communication, like a just in case. So this is one element of the cruise. That's the part of it. I mean, I get it. You're out to sea, so there are logistics that are outside of Disney's control. I understand that, but it's hugely expensive. You burn through all that data so freaking fast. It's payment after payment after payment, and it can really add up. It can really add up, but I don't know. But I mean, any final thoughts before we move on, George?
No, you covered it perfectly. It is very expensive, and I feel like, in a way, Disney knows that people would want to utilize it for those purposes, so they'd be willing to put out those prices for it. But I mean, that is also another reason why I don't really gear towards it. Maybe, yeah, if I was doing like the 14-night Panama Canal one, or maybe like a 10-night Southern Caribbean one, being that I'm on the ship longer and being long distance, I might consider doing something like that. But the price just kind of like throws me for a loop for it, and then I just kind of like, I don't really need it.
Yeah, it's expensive, and you burn through it so fast, and it doesn't even really work that great. I gotta be honest with you. Like, I was trying to get on Twitter and stuff, and it was like barely loading, even with it. I mean, it was just, yeah, it's not great. But Bob Iger here has gifted one OG55 membership. Red Laser Eye Bob, we thank you, sir. We thank you so much. And it says here, tell Jay special access is granted. Love the 5 out of 5 rating. Keep up the great work, boys. So now, for those of you that are not familiar, we did a great show about Bob Iger, the Bob Iger years, the legacy, the tenure of Bob Iger at the Walt Disney Company as CEO, both times. And Jay Shear, friend of the channel, host of the Story Geeks here on the channel, we were rating Bob. I think I gave him a 4.5 or 4.75, assuming he can stick the succession landing. That's the big asterisk, okay? Mm-hmm. If he can't stick that landing, he's going to be going down to like a 2.5. But if he can stick that succession landing, I gave him like a 4.75, because I think he has been pretty good. Jay gave him a 5 out of 5, though. A 5 out of 5. And I mean, that impressed Bob. That was enough to give him full special access. So way to go, Jay. Way to go, Jay. And then Dragon Blood here says, Iger, if you saw my Disney Villains trackless motion similar to Dark Ride, do it. There you go. See, Iger, you're in the chat. If you see Dragon Blood's armchair Imagineering, make it happen, Captain. And tell Daddy Josh. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So let me look through the chat. We got Mr. Giant Peter Show here, says, my brother loves Disney World Space Mountain. I mean, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I just think that, like, from an objective standpoint, I mean, I feel like that's the one that needs the most work. it just feels like it's really taking a beating, or it just feels like it's taking a beating because it's giving you a beating when you ride it.
Literally, yeah.
So yeah, I think it needs a little love, absolutely. But let me look through here and see before we head out if there's anything else here that oh, here we go. This is a great one. I like questions like this. Rogue Attraction, I think Hollywood studios will become, quote, Disney Studio Adventures, showcasing each studio arm. I love this idea. And I actually had a very similar idea, Rogue, but my name was the Worlds of Disney, or the Wonderful Worlds of Disney. And the park, like you were saying right here, would showcase each studio arm. So you'd have Lucasfilm Land, Disneyland, Disney Animation Land, Pixar Land. Maybe eventually we could have Marvel Land, right? And it would feature all the land, Fox Land. You can have all the lands representing each studio of the Walt Disney Company. I think it's a great idea. I think that's the route they should go. I completely agree with you. And get rid of this, just get rid of that backlotty kind of thing. I think that was a trendy thing in the 80s and 90s that should just kind of stay in the 80s and 90s. And I think all too much, a lot of these studios use that as an excuse to cheap out, and we've seen it in Florida. We've seen it out here in DCA with Hollywood Land. It's just an excuse to build a facade and nothing behind it.
It worked for its time. For its time, it worked like in the late 80s, early 90s. That was like the kind of thing to kind of show guests, like peek behind the curtain of the movie making magic and television and music production and all that stuff. And I think people with social media and people making their own kind of videos, you don't even need to go to filmmaking school anymore to make videos, So it's like it lost people's interest, and all they want is they want the experience to be part of the story, not behind the scenes of the story.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with Disney, Lucas here says the permits for the NBA experience was greenlit in 2024, but I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen. Since Star Cruiser experience is now Imagineer's new home, do you think Star Cruiser experience moved over there along with the new VR gaming experience with Fortnite in that new building? I don't. I don't think they're going to have any kind of Star Wars experience in that building. That's just my guess, though, Lucas. I could be completely wrong, but no, I don't think this move signals any kind of like new Star Wars adventure somewhere else. But again, I could be wrong. But I think right now the only thing that they're really looking at is that Mandalorian and Grogu mission for Smuggler's Run, and I think that's what they're going to do. But I don't think we'll see anything in the NBA experience for Star Wars, in my opinion.
I hate to kind of say this and put it in this manner, but it kind of harkens back to what we always say. You need the studio to spearhead and gear towards the parks. And that now works under the umbrella with Marvel and Star Wars, because now that Disney owns those, if you want to have them in the parks, you have to have a better grip of the studio for it. So I feel like they need to get a better grip of what's going on with Lucasfilm first before they do any more inside the park.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We do say that all the time. The studio feeds the entire beast, right? And it does. And it always has. And if your studio is not creating IP that people care about, what are you going to put in your parks? I mean, right now, the only IP that people care about that's Lucasfilm is Mandalorian and Grogu, pretty much, So yeah. There you go. Jesse Adventure, if you could work for Disneyland or DCA, what job would you do? CEO. I mean, that's the only job that matters, right? You got to be a big man on campus, That's what I would do. No, but in all seriousness, in terms of just the parks, that's tough, man. I don't know, like something with people though. I don't want to be behind the scenes. I really like people. Like that's why I do the channel. That's why I like doing these live shows. Something with people where I can make a difference in people's days. So maybe like a ride operator or even like a waiter. I would do a waiter. That would be fun. That'd be cool. Something like that where I'm dealing with people, very customer facing or guest facing. What about you, George?
I actually have 3, but they're kind of layered like a lasagna, no pun intended. Like my highest job I would want is parks chairman for experiences. Okay.
And I'll approve or deny your projects when I'm CEO.
There you go. So that would be like my top tier. My second one would be concept writer for WDI. And then if I was to do something in the parks, I always wanted to be a VIP tour guide.
There you go. There you go. Shout out to the former tour guide, Jackie, who is amazing. Yes. And Disney, I mean, she left on her own, but what a loss for Disney, though. I mean, she's incredible. What an incredible lady. She did such a great job with us for the Boogie Bash. Awesome. Big shout out to Jackie. Sam Chat here says, Robert Iger, I read your whole book. Can I have special access? Bob, this guy doesn't have special access yet? Come on, man. Make it happen, dude. He read your whole book. Get it. Come on, dude. Give him that special access. Andrew Kellogg here says, what do you think would happen to mission space when or if NASA or SpaceX land human on Mars? That's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they might change the mission, I guess. I don't know. I'm surprised that's even still around, to be honest with you. I think it's way too intense for a theme park. I'm sorry. I do. What say you, George? I honestly, I just feel like, I mean, this is a ride system that they actually use to train astronauts.
Yeah. And I feel like
it's too much, man.
I feel like the technological advancements were high at the time, back in 2003, 2004. Now it feels outdated to me, to be honest with you. I feel like that they could do something so much more better.
You know, it's not outdated. My claustrophobia. Fuck that ride.
Oh, dude, you would be if you get claustrophobic in Forbidden Journey.
No, dude.
You'd probably have a downright panic attack in mission space.
I would. I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. And I don't drink anymore, so I couldn't even cope with it. So forget it. The Giant Peter Show. Josh Diamaro, I need my special access back too. There you go. Josh, come on. Let's make it happen, Captain. Let's make it happen. Andrew Kellogg, what do you guys think of a Nightmare Before Christmas ride? I don't know. I kind of like it the way it is. I kind of like having just that franchise being used for like an overlay, I guess, because it's a very like seasonal kind of franchise. So yeah, I think I'm fine with the overlays, you know. But I'm open to hearing ideas.
Don't we have like half a year of Christmas in the parks already? Like,
yeah, we do.
Like, I mean, like they're starting it like earlier and earlier. Like pretty soon, we're going to be starting the Christmas season in May.
Yeah, or pretty much. Giant Peter Show here says, I did Orange. No, he didn't. He did not do me. Oh, wait. Oh, he means Mission Space. Okay. Mission Space. Gotcha. No, now Orange, is that the no centrifuge thing or something?
Orange is the
mild version.
I think Orange is the intense one.
The intense one? Okay.
Green is the less one.
Okay.
Yeah, well, without the spin.
There we go. Lucas Kim says, dibs on CEO of foods within the resort and parks management for me. I'd go all out kitchen nightmare Gordon Ramsay level for foods in Disney parks and resorts. Make it happen. Hey, Bob, you're in the chat. Bob Iger, here's your man. Have this guy run foods. Absolutely. Jesse Adventure, any plans on bringing back Bricky? Yes, there's always plans to bring back Bricky. We love Bricky. I got to reach out to him. We got to do that again. George and I and the wonderful Mr. Webba are going to be going on a little bit of a vacay pretty soon in the coming days. So this week is kind of booked for us, but maybe when we get back, George, you know, maybe we should reach out to Bricky.
We should reach out, see what he's up to. I know he's been pretty busy himself. He was down at Walt Disney World, I think, for his first 2025 trip. He should be back now, I would think. But yeah, and then by the time we're back from our little trip, I think we can make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. A lot has happened actually with everything, with stuff since he's been on. I think it's been a couple. When was he on? I think a couple months ago, maybe.
I think a couple months. We definitely was still in 2024.
Yeah, it was like in November, maybe. I think something like that.
Yeah.
So it's been a couple months. And Bricky, definitely. I want to get Drew, the Disney dude, back on. We just had him on a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, I want to get DSNY Jack back on the show. So a lot of great people in our community that make content that it's always fun having them on the show and talking shop and kind of nerding out, you know. The Giant Peter Show. Orange is intense. Green is mild. My sister and mom are freaking out on the green side. On the green side, they were freaking out. Wow. Wow, that's wild. I don't know, man. I'm not going on it. A little too much for me. Bring Drew, Bricky, and Jack. Let's go. You know what? Let's do it all on the same show, Dragon Blood.
One big
do
show.
it. Let's do it. Let's do it Avengers style, bro. Let's bring everybody in. Let's just do it all at once, you know?
If we could get all of them on one show, we should open it up with like the Avengers signature music.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That'd be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, everybody, a fantastic Sunday evening live show. We love George and I and the whole OG55 crew. We love doing these live shows. They are a lot of fun talking and reaching out to the community. We love our community, and it's cool to like be able to touch base with everybody, like, you know, in real time. Oh yeah, here you go. There it is. OG55ers assemble. Absolutely. Do I have anything? I think I have I got some Avengers stuff in here we can kind of rock here. We got a little
we have a Hulk.
Yes, we do. We have a Hulk. And
Hulk smash!
There we go. Yeah. But yeah, we love doing these lives. George and I, after this live, are going to be recording a whole video on the Imagineering move to the Star Cruiser building, the Rise of the Resistance cannons being fixed, all kinds of stuff. So check out that video very, very soon. Right now on the channel, Mr. Webba, who has his brand new show, Webba-Vision, was joined by George and I talking about the Legoland entertainment cuts. Significant cuts over there at Legoland. That video dropped just a couple hours ago, actually. So check that one out. Really, really fun show. Mr. Webba always brings the heat. Our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And we got a newbie in here. I don't recognize her. Do you know who she is, George? I don't know.
She's somebody. I don't know. Like she likes to slide into my DMs.
There she is. Another great live. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have fun on your guys' trip. Yep. Thank you so much, Abby. We do appreciate you. And thank you all so much for watching this episode of OG55. Comment down below with all your thoughts on everything we discussed today. And I hope, and George hopes, that you all have a wonderful Sunday evening. We're going to end the show like we always end the show with the lovely and beautiful, the Queen.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.